Hi there, good morning everyone. This is Liz Davis. I am a nutritionist and I specialise in digestive health for busy women. So I help busy women fix their painful digestion, reflux, IBS symptoms, SIBO, candida, etc. And I do this with state-of-the-art gut testing, hormone testing, any other kind of testing that we need, and also look into any kind of related hormone issues or chronic fatigue and that kind of thing, which can also have quite a lot of their root cause tied up with gut health as well. So that's worth bearing in mind. So one of the biggest areas I end up dealing with is stuff like reflux and heartburn, and trying to get to the root cause of what's actually going on there, what's triggering your symptoms. So contrary to what we tend to believe, or what it feels like, is that reflux, heartburn, etc. is just simply caused by too much acid in the stomach. But what can actually happen a lot of the time is it's caused by low stomach acid for whatever reason, or stomach acid which is just in the wrong place. So what can happen for various reasons is that the lower esophageal sphincter can loosen or get a bit leaky, and that can cause acid to rise up through the esophagus, and that's what gives those horrible symptoms. And then that also leaves us with not enough acid in our actual stomach to do the things that it really needs to do, i.e. digesting our food properly, and it's also the first line of defence in our immune system as well. So we're not stopping those bugs coming through and either causing stomach bugs itself, or things like SIBO as well can come about from not having enough stomach acid going on. So then what happens when we take anything to then lower our acid further or dampen down its effects? So antacids or PPI medications, for example, we're actually just masking over the problem, and sometimes even making it worse as well, which is of course the last thing we want to do. So if we have low stomach acid anyway, we can be at risk of things like nutrient deficiencies, because our food isn't being broken down efficiently, so it's not absorbed properly. We can also get things like knock-on effects as well, diabetes, chronic fatigue, and a whole host of other things. So it's really worth getting on top of and trying to fix properly. But then when we take antacids, which are fine now and again, and PPIs are fine for a short period of time, they can really be helpful to alleviate those symptoms and get us out of a corner. If we take them on an ongoing basis, firstly, we're not getting to the root cause of the issue, which is the really important thing to do, and just dampening down that acid further, or in the case of PPIs, actually stop it being produced at all, and stop the pepsin as well being produced. So the pepsin is, of course, what's breaking down the protein. It can cause problems with absorption and immunity and everything else that can be linked in with that as well. So that's an important point, actually. If you're taking PPIs and it's not breaking down your protein effectively, you can end up with these big protein particles going through your digestive system, and as it goes further down the digestive system, because it's not broken down properly, then it can create very uncomfortable bloating. So that pressure then within the abdomen again is putting further pressure onto the LES, the lower esophageal sphincter, which then allows more acid to creep up into the esophagus. So we're essentially ending up in this vicious cycle where whatever you do seems to be making the situation worse, which can actually get really quite depressing by the end. At the end it can get quite a desperate situation. So there's a few areas to look at though, which you can try at home just as a bit of an experimentation to find out if anything like this helps you. Sometimes if you have a hiatus hernia, for a start, that can trigger symptoms. So if you go in for endoscopy or anything, they'll be able to tell you if there's a hiatus hernia going on. Sometimes it can trigger symptoms, sometimes not so much, but it really depends. So if you've ruled that out, I would be having a look to see if you are eating meals that are too large, for one thing. Sometimes as we get older, our dietary requirements change. So your requirements when you were younger maybe aren't quite matching what your requirements are now. So you can end up possibly eating a bit too much or particularly a bit too much carb or that kind of thing, which you don't really need. So anything like that can be just, adding pressure into your abdomen that it doesn't really need, or is just making the situation worse. If you've got anything like dysbiosis or SIBO, that can cause this bloating, which causes pressure in the abdomen, and again just presses up on that LES, that lower esophageal sphincter, and can cause problems with allowing the acid to seep back up again where we don't want it. There could be a sneaky food intolerance going on. You may not be aware of it, or it could be something like, gluten intolerance, for example, would be a common one. So you can maybe experiment with taking out certain foods if you suspect they might not be agreeing with you. But do be careful with this, so don't go taking out lots and lots of foods, because that can also have the opposite effect to what we want as well. We don't want you restricting your diet too much. So yeah, then a few more other things you can do is reduce refined grains. So if you're eating a lot of white things, so white pasta, white rice, anything made out of white flour, look to reduce those as well. And at the same time, increase your fibre intake. So make sure you're getting plenty of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and things, because that really helps to beef up your colonies of friendly bacteria, which is going to help any kind of bloating situation. Reduce your sugar intake. If you're eating too much sugar or drinking too much sugar, sugary fizzy drinks can really aggravate things. Caffeine, any like coffee or tea or anything like that, is notorious for loosening that or relaxing that LES. So that could be an area to look out for as well. Also, maybe try eating probiotic rich foods, kefir, natural yogurt, etc., or taking a probiotic supplement. But do be aware, if you take any kind of probiotic and you've got SIBO, so you've got bacteria in the wrong place, in the wrong part of your digestive system, so in the small intestine, adding more bacteria in can sometimes aggravate that as well. So that's something worth bearing in mind. There are supplements that you can take, but it's really going to depend what's causing the reflux for you. So again, if this is where testing comes in, which is quite, it can be quite important to just pinpoint what exactly is going on and what's triggering these symptoms for you. So if you would like more information, then do pop me a DM and I will get some info over to you. But if you found this useful, do like and share. Okay, thank you. I'll see you next time.